Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we can finally look at all the character rares from Dream League, and we can see which humans we've got, which Pokemon they're paired with, and then we can even have a little bit of a look at which ones you really need to be clamoring for when they come out. Huge thank you to the lovely Primal Lugia over at Poker Guardian today, who has collated them all together and made it rather easy for us indeed. So if we start off very quickly at the ones we already knew, we can rush through these rather quickly. We know that we are getting a Piplup, which is going to be coming along with Dawn. We know that the Piplup for free water energy allows you to do 80 damage and prevent the basic Pokemon that you attack hitting you next turn. Really, it's not about Piplup, it's about the Empoleon, who for a single colourless energy can copy any attacks of its previous evolutions. So of course, for a single energy, you can use Piplup's attack. That's pretty gosh darned good. We knew that we were getting a Mimikyu with Ace Roller, and this one is one of the weaker ones for me. It's got an attack for a colourless energy that lets you essentially play a supporter card from your hand, which is fine, but I don't think it's the strongest one out there, if I'm honest with you. We also knew that we were getting a Clefairy. Now, Clefairy allows you to, for free energy, it does 60 damage, and then you get to play a Lillie's Pokédoll from your hand into your active while picking up your Clefairy. It's fine, but if I'm honest with you, the free energy is a bit too much, and it's just not doing enough. It's too much of an awkward thing, to be honest. As a side note, the Clefairy is a box promo. You only get it when you buy a box. And then the other day, we showed you a couple of others. We know we're getting Lana with Wishy Washy. Now, this one I absolutely adore. If it is damaged at the end of your opponent's turn, you flip a coin. If tails, you shuffle it into your deck. This is going to be a phenomenal stalling Pokemon, especially bearing in mind that it's a basic Pokemon with 180 HP, so it's kind of difficult to get a one-hit KO on anyway. I showed you a little version of this the other day. Here's a nice clear version. And I owe you, lovely ladies and gentlemen, an apology. See, the other day I showed you Stoutland, and I told you that it was there with Steven. Well, clearly that's dumb and stupid and wrong, and I apologise. It is obviously Cheren. I know it's Cheren. I also know I said Steven in the video. No real excuse, I just got muddled and I apologise. It's definitely Cheren. Now, the ability here is what's really good about this. When you evolve it, you get to discard an energy from your opponent's active. And when it's KO'd, you get to discard an energy from your opponent's active. It's a stage 2, so it's awkward, but it's kind of cool. Incidentally, I have done videos about all of these Pokemon. I will drop links to them in the description. So they're the 5 that we already knew about, but there were 7 that we didn't know about. Except there were 2 that I told you were definitely coming, and they are. So I told you that we would be getting a Magneton with Lieutenant Surge. It was a fairly easy prediction to make, and it has been confirmed. Kind of. It's actually Magnemite with Lieutenant Surge, which is weird. They don't seem to be able to make up their mind whether they want to go for the basics or the evolved. Now, Magnemite is just kind of meh. You know, it's kind of irrelevant. The Magneton is really good. When it's out, you can KO it, give your opponent a prize, and then search your deck for free supporter cards, one of which should be Lieutenant Surge's strategy, which will let you play the other 2 straight away. So Magnemite is very much something and nothing, but the Magneton is absolutely brilliant, and we love it. And we knew that we were getting a red with Pikachu. I mean, it was literally on the pack. It's got Nuzzle, which means it can be used with all that stuff like Pachirisu, Emolga, etc. And it's actually got a decent attack as well that does 70 damage for free energy, bearing in mind you got Thunder Mountain Prism Star, and you've got Tapu Koko Prism Star that make it much, much easier to pay. I'm also a big fan of the Raichu, that for just a single lightning energy, does 20 damage for each lightning energy that you've got on the field. I think this is the best pure Pikachu we've ever had. No, it's not as good as Pikachu EX, but that was an EX, not just a regular Pikachu. The other one that we really should have been able to guess from the pack art, and I should have mentioned this in my previous video, was Roxy with Coughing. And what's really cool is that Roxy, as a supporter card, lets you discard 2 Pokemon from your hand and draw 3 cards for each one discarded. And the Coughing, if it is discarded using Roxy, does 1 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. Although, as a fun little side note, the Wheezing also has the exact same ability. So we knew we were getting Roxy and Coughing. It again was on the pack art. So which ones are we getting that are slightly surprising? Or at least not incredibly obvious? We're getting Flannery with Torkoal. Now, I'll be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, this is one that I would not have predicted. Flannery is the Lava Ridge Town gym leader, so not one we see very often at all, honestly. And the Torkoal is fine. I don't think the Torkoal is one of the better cards in the set. The Torkoal, for 1 fire energy, lets you put 4 fire energy from your discard pile into your hand. And for 3 fire energy, does 100 damage and discards an energy attached to Torkoal and to the defending Pokemon. It's fine, but I don't think it's going to be one of the most sought after. We are, however, getting a Cyrus with Weavile. Now, this is kind of a weird one to me, because on the one hand, Cyrus is extremely popular, and on the other hand, the Weavile is fine. The best thing about it really is that it is a water Pokemon that attacks for Darkness energy, and bearing in mind Darkness decks are all playing Weavile GX to move your energy around as you like. So it's kind of cool that we are now going to have an option for a Water Weavile to hit Water Weakness without having to play a different kind of energy. We are getting Gallade with Wally, and we should all know Wally. Wally's from that card that was so good it ended up getting banned. The Gallade, I am a big fan of the Gallade. I think the Gallade is really good. As with any Stage 2 at the moment, it's a little bit awkward in terms of... It's hard to get Stage 2s out, and it's going to be harder post-rotation. But the Gallade I do like quite a lot. The ability says it is both a Psychic and a Fighting type. And then for 2 colourless energy, it does 120, moving 1 to your bench, which will preserve it if Gallade goes and gets KO'd. It's alright, but it is a little bit awkward. We are getting Steelix with Jasmine, and again, Jasmine should be fairly familiar to you, given that, well, she's got a card out at the moment. So, you know, probably one you should know a little bit about, frankly. So, the Steelix here is phenomenal. It is one of the best cards in the set. I think this is going to be one of the character rares that is really, really sought after, because I think this Steelix is going to be great. For 2 colourless energy, you get to discard as many Pokemon from your hand as you like with a retreat cost of 4, and you do 50 damage for each Pokemon discarded from your hand in this way. Bearing in mind we're going to have Pokemaniac, which will let you search for 3 Pokemon with a retreat cost of 4 and put them into your hand, which is going to give you, let's say, a little bit of extra consistency. And frankly, ladies and gentlemen, this is something you should be getting excited about. This Steelix is great, and I think it is going to really, really be sought after. I could be wrong, but it's a Stage 1 that attacks for 2 energy and can KO anything with a lot of advantages. I think this Steelix is going to be phenomenal. And I think this is going to be potentially the most sought after of these character rares, although Wishy-Washy is also going to be a really good card. In terms of the best cards that have got character rares, I do think it's the Wishy-Washy and the Steelix. But the last one we need to mention is my favourite of all of them. It is Excadrill with Clay. Now, when I did my Excadrill video, I made no bones about the fact that I thought it was a phenomenal card. For 1 fighting energy, you can do 120 damage discarding the top 4 cards of your deck. And similarly for 1 fighting energy, if you've got 3 or fewer cards remaining in your deck, you can do 180 damage. I think this is going to be an over-the-top good card for me. I don't know if it's going to really shape the format, but I do know that it's going to be the card that I'm really excited to test. For me, running out, it's Piplup and Excadrill, but I think Excadrill is going to make a better deck, so for me, I'm running out to get a playset of these Excadrill. Now, you might notice that there are 13 rather than the stated 12, but please do remember that the Clefairy is a box promo, so there are 12 in the set, plus Clefairy. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, all of the character rares, and which ones you should be excited about. As I've said, I will make sure I link videos to all of these Pokemon in the description. I've given you a quick rundown of the Pokemon in this video, but if you want to learn a little bit more, you can do so by watching the videos in the description. For now, tell me what you think about these character rares, and please, in the comment section, tell me which one you like the most and why. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wally, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WallyPlays, where we talk about a whole bunch of games that don't even have any Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.